Good afternoon, children. Today we have Ms. Tarana Faruqi with us. Welcome, Tarana, to eSchool. So,
Thank you for having me.
a little introduction about Tarana. She has done her journalism graduation from Lady Shri Ram College, Delhi University. And then Tarana has done her post-graduation in international relations from the Graduate Institute of International and Development Studies, Geneva. So, Tarana, the first question that I would request you to answer for our children is, what are the subjects that you study in international relations?
Sure. Firstly, I think I'd start off with saying what international relations is exactly, because there's a lot of misconception and it's a new subject, so very few people know about it. And then I can probably tell about the various subjects and the various thematic areas. So, as the name suggests, international relations is the study of relations or policies between different countries, different nation states. It is an interdisciplinary subject which comes under the larger ambit of political science. It has been there for a very, very long time, but it has slowly started gaining pace in India in probably 15, 20 years. So, relatively, it's new here. So the biggest misconception is that it is only about states and governments, but it is also about its people, right? It's about its culture, its health system, education system, economy, law, policies, etc. So it is a very broad subject, as you can imagine, right? So that is what largely international relations entails. It is a very multidisciplinary subject because you can study a lot of different variety of things under this larger umbrella. So because of that, the subject itself, what you study could range from like diplomacy, governance, defense systems of different countries to something like health policies of a country to like nowadays also because of upcoming technology, you can probably study data protection and you can study piracy as a threat, right? Because that is also an upcoming challenge in the world. You can study about energy politics. You can study about how countries' nuclear gas leak can affect the economy of another country, right? So it has a lot of subjects. You can also study probably history because you will study how that country came out of Cold War or how it kind of emerged, right? So it is a very broad subject. So I mean, I can probably focus on some bigger subject areas that are dealt in it, and then what happens in most courses everywhere is that in the first year or the 1.5 years, people do generic courses or more like broader theoretical courses and then do specializations in their second year or their final year of their
Oh, okay.
studies. Usually that's the scenario, but it of course depends on university to university and course to course, right? So
All right.
largely the first 1.5 years would be dealing with theories of international politics and largely this is how states function, how governments function, how policies function, right? You would also probably study about something like India's foreign policy, or you would study about, let's say, Pakistan, China, or important countries, foreign policies and their relations with India. So that would probably be the first 1.5 years, followed by which would be specialization tracks, probably where you could study the specialization that you are interested in.
All
So
right.
what I did was mostly conflict and peace building and working on issues on human rights and migration and refugees. So that was my sort of areas of interest.
Which
But
I feel is the need of the hour. Everything possible on earth in international
yeah,
relations. Because
yeah,
as a
yeah,
layman, to be very honest, I also thought it's more like political science. You only study about
yeah,
government and
yeah,
its people.
exactly.
Thank you. So my next question to you, Tarana, is that then what are the career opportunities after you do your graduation or post-graduation in international relations?
So as I said, because the field is vast, so the options are also vast,
Yeah.
right? Initially, when I also went for my master's, I thought the conventional options would be probably get into academics or do civil services and foreign services, right? That is usually the conventional track of going ahead. But slowly and slowly, the more I studied, the more I figured that there are lots of other interesting opportunities also. So as I said, the diplomacy and foreign services is one path to go ahead. One is academics, right? A lot of people do PhDs and postdoctorates and get into teaching.
Mm.
If you're interested in teaching and research, you can also work in think tanks and academic organizations and research organizations because a lot of organizations are funding their like money to different organizations to conduct field work and to do research projects. So that is also a huge area. Also, depending on the kind of specialization you have, people choose their path. So if you are, let's say, into international economics, right? If you're into like trade policies and finance of different countries, you can work in organizations like World WTO, World Trade Organization, World Bank, etc., Asian Development Bank. So a lot of development banks and development corporations can hire you. You can also probably work in consulting firms. Those big five consulting firms also are hiring people like us. So that is a big, again, change that is happening. That it's not just in like the small spaces of academics that we are in. Also,
Yeah.
larger consulting firms and development consulting firms also work with people like us. Also, there's a huge branch of development consulting that is happening
Mhm.
now, where they're
Yes.
focusing more on developmental issues, right? So there's places like Dalberg, FSG, Brisbane, Samagra that are recruiting people because they focus a lot on public policy issues, right, and development issues. So that's also one big space. Then there is also a lot of people who are good with writing and journalism, etc. So they get into journalism and working for like media organizations. Then also there are people who are lawyers, right, who are international lawyers. So they work with various governments. They work in ICC. They work on like protecting asylum seekers, getting people from different countries, etc. So they work more on like the legal side of things. Then there are people like me who work in the UN, who work in who work in international organizations, who work in NGOs and civil society organizations, who kind of work with all these different people but have their own sort of spaces as well. So that is also a big space that people are involved with. Another part would be probably defense and security intelligence, like RAW, CIA, and all these kind of places.
So I think you've almost covered everything, right? From academia to administrative services to corporate to the social service
Yeah,
and
yeah.
international
It's very
organizations. Great.
it's very broad. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it is. Tarana, could you suggest our students what are the best global colleges which are considered to be the the forerunners in this field where you can go and pursue your international relations?
Sure. So most of the colleges offer master's degrees. Very few of them are offering undergraduate degrees, and a lot of people actually prefer going for masters because by that time you figure out as to what you want to do and like what is your areas of interest and stuff. So usually the top rated colleges are, let's say, LSE, London School of Economics. There is Sciences Po in Paris. There is Graduate Institute where I went to. Then there is Georgetown in US. There is SOAS in UK. Then there is the usual Cambridge, Oxford, Yale, kind of Columbia kind of places as well.
Oh,
Um, there is a lot of them are in US and Europe actually concentrated. But still, there are places like NUS and NTU in Singapore. Then there is Australian University in Melbourne, and also there are kind of concentrated in US and Europe mostly. But there are some small other places all over India or in other countries as well. I would say.
all right. Thank you. So, Tarana, can you also give a little bit idea about your journey with respect to the course in international relations and your
Mhm.
internships? I mean, how did you go about the entire thing?
Okay, sure. So my story is actually very, I mean, filmy to say in a way. So I was like any other college student figuring out what to do, right? Everybody is in the same zone of like what next, what to do. So I knew what I like and what I don't like, but I didn't know how I can like make a career into it, right? So with me, it happened that I was volunteering with different NGOs and different things as a part of the college curriculum and stuff, and I was always interested in issues of politics. And I used to take part in debates and public speaking events, MUNs, etc. So that's where I figured this is something that I like. So I was doing all this just for fun kind of things, but slowly I figured that you can actually make a career into this also. You don't have to just do it as a like a volunteering thing or as a hobby kind of a thing. So the more I spoke to people, the more I did various internships, various volunteering work is how I figured this is kind of the path that I would want to follow. So that's what happened with me in terms of internships I did and in terms of the kind of work I did. I said that when I was studying in Geneva, I interned with the UN High Commission on Human Rights and I worked with WHO. And back in India, when I was studying in college, I interned with MSF, Doctors Without Borders, and a lot of small NGOs as a part of my course curriculum itself. And I used to write blogs and online platforms, etc. So that's what I did mostly. I interned with Hindustan Times, etc. So I mostly did different things, whatever I could do and whatever kind of was interesting for me.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of internships I took up. And the more I did all these internships, I figured what are my areas of interest and what I'm good at, and what I know and what I don't know. So that's how it kind of worked for me in terms of the work that I did. Post my course getting over, I was working in the Netherlands, in The Hague, in this organization called GPAC, which focuses on UN Sustainable Development Goals. So I was working on policy advocacy issues for the organization, and then I came back to India. So, and where I work currently, I work with the UN High Commission on Human Rights, with the UN High Commission on Refugees, basically, focusing on issues of livelihoods for refugees. So,
Tirana, the last question for you is, what advice would you give to those students who are still in a dilemma and have not made up their mind whether to go in for international relations or not?
said that in India the options are very limited. I mean, there are some 5-7 universities that are offering this course. So I would suggest to people that you can probably do various internships or do volunteer work, or probably, like, if it is taught in your university, if it is taught in your college as a course, probably take it up and see if you're interested in this kind of spaces. I think that would be the best way to go ahead, because it is a very new field. It is slowly expanding right now, which is great, because then a lot of people have opportunities to get into it. But it's equally challenging at the same time, right? Because it's not very sorted and established in that sense. So I would suggest to do that. I mean, try different options, try see what works for you. A lot of times I've also seen people who did like MBAs and engineering, or did something very conventional in that sense, and then shifted into this field as well. So a lot of people, like, after working for a few years or studying for a few years, figured it's not their cup of tea, and then they shifted also. So there are lots of people like that, I guess. So there's no probably age limit or time limit to getting
True.
into any subject, I would say.
True. So at the end of the day, they have to figure out what suits them, what are they interested in, what is it that they like,
Yeah.
and then take a call maybe. So Tarana, that's a very comprehensive and detailed information you have given about the course. Thank you so much for coming to eSchool. And the students say stay tuned and keep subscribing. We'll get you more such videos. Thank you, Tarana.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.